The sun beats down on the dusty roads of Domboshava, a small village cradled in the hills northeast of Harare. It is October 10, 1984. In a modest home, a couple welcomes a son. They look at him, their hearts swelling with hope for a future far beyond these humble surroundings. They give him a name that is both a blessing and a challenge: Genius. The name hangs heavily on the young boy. In the cramped classroom, it feels like a cruel joke. The letters on the page dance and blur. The numbers refuse to make sense. He fails, and he fails again. Only one subject feels real, feels of the earth: agriculture. Here, his mind clicks into place, understanding the land, the crops, the practical mechanics of growth. The teachers sigh, marking him as a hopeless case. Classmates snicker behind his back, mocking the boy named Genius who can't pass a test. But behind his eyes, a different kind of intelligence is at work. He approaches his mother, his face a mask of regret. He needs money, he says, to rewrite the exams. She gives him what she can. But he never goes to the examination hall. Instead, he walks into the bustling streets, the coins burning a hole in his pocket. He finds a vendor selling old, battered mobile phones. He buys one, then two. He cleans them, fixes them, and sells them for a profit. In that moment, standing in the hot sun with a working phone in his hand, he makes a decision. School is not his path. Business is. His hustle starts small: a bag of sugar here, a street-side deal there. Then, around the year 2000, the landscape of Zimbabwe itself begins to change. White commercial farmers are leaving, and in their wake, they leave behind skeletons of their operations, discarded, rusting equipment scattered across empty fields. Most people see junk, but Genius sees something else. His eyes lock onto piles of abandoned gas cylinders. He rounds up his friends. Together, they become scavengers of opportunity, loading these metal tanks onto carts. They sweat under the sun, scrubbing off rust, making them safe, giving them a new coat of paint. Then they transport them to the city, where the demand for cooking gas is insatiable. This is no longer a side hustle. This is the birth of pioneer gases. He isn't selling scrap, he is selling survival. The business outgrows Zimbabwe's borders. He packs a small bag and crosses into Botswana with little more than ambition. He borrows money from relatives, his charm his only collateral. He starts importing gas. The operation expands, stretching its veins into South Africa and Zambia. Pioneer Gases becomes a regional force. The boy who once struggled for shillings now commands serious money. And with the money comes a new identity. The name, Genius, is for paperwork and polite company. On the street, in the clubs, he is Ginimbi. A name that snaps with energy. A brand built on flash and undeniable success. He returns to Domboshava, but not as the boy who left. He builds a palace where his modest home once stood. The mansion rises from the red earth, a spectacle of marble, glass, and glittering chandeliers. It boasts a gym, multiple lounges, and a garage that becomes a shrine to his greatest love: cars. And what cars they are! A gleaming Rolls Royce Wraith, a sleek Bentley Continental, a fiery red Ferrari 488 Spider, a low-slung Lamborghini Aventador. He is often the first in Zimbabwe to own these marvels of engineering, and he showcases them to a mesmerized audience on social media. His true stage, however, is the night. He introduces Zimbabwe to the all-white party, a phenomenon of pure luxury. The rich, the famous, the beautiful, all dressed in white, gather in his clubs. Champagne flows like water. He is everywhere at once, a conductor of euphoria, checking the lights, testing the sound, ensuring the fantasy is perfect. But the bright lights cast long shadows. In 2014, whispers of a R1.6 million fraud scheme in South Africa swirl around him. He denies everything. In 2016, The handcuffs snap on his wrists. Accusations of tax evasion, fraud over import licenses. He walks in and out of courtrooms, the charges never quite sticking, his flamboyant lifestyle and ongoing defiance of his critics. Is he a shrewd businessman or a shady dealer? The debate fuels his legend. On November 7, 2020, the beat is pounding at Dreams nightclub. The air is thick with perfume and celebration. Michelle, Moana, Amulai, a rising star of the party scene, is turning 26. Ginimbi is at the center of it all. He takes out his phone, going live on Instagram. A casual white shirt, a easy smile. "Guys, it's going down tonight," he says, his voice a promise of more to come. The party rages until the sky begins to lighten. At 5:20 a.m., Ginimbi leads his friends to the curb. He slides into the driver's seat of the silver Rolls Royce Wraith. Moana slips into the passenger seat. In the back, friends settle in. Licia, a socialite from Mozambique, and Karim Kazal, a businessman from Malawi. The engine purrs to life. On Borrowdale Road, the world is still and quiet. The Rolls Royce becomes a silver streak, its power vibrating through the chassis. He pushes the accelerator, the speedometer climbing. He swings out to overtake, crossing the solid line into the empty oncoming lane. But the lane is not empty. Headlights. Small, close, immediate. A Honda Fit. There is no time to brake, no time to scream. The world erupts in a symphony of shattering glass and twisting metal. The devastating force of the head-on collision hurls the 2-ton Rolls Royce like a toy. It careens off the tarmac, its trajectory ending in a sickening, final impact with a giant roadside tree. The sound is apocalyptic. Then, silence. For 1 second. A spark meets leaking fuel. A fireball explodes into the morning sky, engulfing the wreckage. The violent force has already thrown Ginimbi, unbelted, through the windshield. He lies on the cool grass of the roadside, his life ended by the impact alone. Inside the inferno, there is no escape. The doors are jammed, the seatbelts become traps. The flames consume everything. When the news breaks, it echoes through every corner of Zimbabwe. Crowds gather at the smoldering site, a silent testament to a life extinguished. The tributes pour in, a chorus of contradictions. He was the generous benefactor who paid bills and built roads in Domboshava. He was the reckless king of the night, who lived too fast and too loud. Genius lived like fire, a brilliant, captivating, and dangerous flame that burned too brightly to last.